Ayah number 43, Surah Nur. Do you not see that Allah gently dries the clouds, then joins them together, piling them up into masses, from which you see raindrops come forth, and He sends down from the sky mountains of clouds loaded with hail, pouring it on whoever He wills and averting it from whoever He wills. The flash of clouds lightning nearly takes away eyesight. So as we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about the guidance of human being, and he's telling us that his guidance towards the straight path is the biggest blessing that he gives to the human beings. But this is not for everybody. You have to prove yourself worthy for his guidance, this kind of guidance. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taken an example over here, that he is saying that have you seen how the process of condensation and precipitation takes place, how the water evaporates and condenses into clouds and then it precipitates as rain. And Allah has complete authority and control over everything. So you have also seen that especially when you are taking flights, Bihanul Quran say that in the plane you see how when the plane is encountered by the clouds, it raises itself above and you can see layers of clouds one over another below you, and sometimes you can see layers of clouds above you as well. And when they fall, it seems that they have mountains of hail drops in them, and then the hail drops fall, and afterwards when you see one place is completely destroyed by the presence of hail, and the other side no hailing has occurred and it's completely fine. So it is similarly Allah says that I give guidance to whoever I will. Just like he gives guidance and He nourishes and causes flourishing of that person. Similarly, the hail drops, it destroys one part of the field and it completely spares the other part of the field. So whoever Allah wants to destroy, He can destroy, and whoever Allah wants to flourish, He can make him flourish. So it is completely dependent upon the will of the Allah. So you have to prove yourself worthy for Allah's blessing, especially this blessing of guidance that Allah is talking about. Then in Ayah 44, Allah says, Allah alternates the day and night. Surely in this is a lesson for people of insight. Al-ulil al-absar. So again Allah is mentioning His complete control and authority over day and night, that after every day there is a night and after every night there is a day. Allah is maintaining the harmony of day and night, and in these signs there are reasoning for the people who see and who understand, who wants to know, who reflect. They can see the truth in all these signs. Then Allah says in ayah number 45, and Allah has created from water every living creature. Some of them crawl on their bellies, some walk on two legs, and some walk on four. Allah creates whatever He wills. Surely Allah is most capable of everything. So these ayahs are coming in support of Tawheed Rabubiyah, in which Allah says that He has complete authority, control and sovereignty, and then He says that He is the creator, the master of everything. He creates whatever He wills. And in this ayah, if you see one more specific thing that Allah has told us 1400 years ago, by the word of mouth of an Ummi prophet who never went to any school and never learned anything from anybody, he's telling us that Allah has created from water every living creature. And science today proves that every living creature is created from water. The constituent of every living creature's body is majority is water. So whenever science brings forth any kind of evidence, that evidence comes in support of the predictions and the sayings of the Quran. So this is one of the hugest reason and hugest evidence. Science provides the hugest evidences in support of the Quran, that it is not a handwritten book. It is not a man-made book. This is a divine book. What science has discovered in this century, day and age, Quran is telling us 1400 years ago. So how can this book be revealed? How can this book be written by a human hand? when humans never knew 1400 years ago that the body of living organisms is majority water. Only the creator knew how he has created human being. So Quran is a miracle, and science, whenever it brings forth any scientific inventions, discoveries, it always supports, it comes in supports of the revelation of the Quran. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He has created creatures of all shapes and forms. Some are ringing on their bellies like the reptiles, the lizards and crocodiles. Others are walking on two legs, and we humans are included in this. And then some walk on four. And we know that sheep and goats and camels and horses and so many other things. So Allah creates whatever He wills. Nobody has any influence over him, any power over him. Nobody can bribe him. Nobody can intercede with him. He does whatever he wants. His will does not have any control by anything over it. He is the creator, He is the master. Surely Allah is capable of everything. He is capable of everything. He has no limit. We have indeed sent down revelations clarifying the truth, but Allah only guides whoever He wills to the straight path. So Allah has sent us so many signs, and He has just enumerated those signs for us in the shape of animals of different shapes and forms, in the form of clouds which have layers one over the other, and in the form of hailstorms that are coming and going, and in the form of alternating day and night. And He's saying that all these are my signs, which are showing the wisdom and harmony only a single sovereign can exercise. So these are these revelations, and the Quran itself, which is being proven true by scientific inventions and discoveries of today, it also is a sign. All these revelations clarifying the truth, all of them are evidence that there is only one God, and He is the only truth in this universe. But Allah only guides whoever He wills. But everybody doesn't understand it. Yet everybody doesn't understand it. Though these are signs are manifest in front of everyone, but everybody does not understand. Only people who have been granted special tawfiq, special guidance by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, only they are able to see these things. Only they are able to reflect on it, and only they are able to transform. Ayah number 47. And the hypocrites say, we believe in Allah and the Messenger, and we obey. Then a group of them turns away. Soon after that, these are not true believers. Now ayahs are coming about about hypocrites. And we know that hypocrites were present in a huge amount in Medina. And as we know that Surah Nur is a Madani surah. So repeatedly ayahs are coming about the hypocrites, to identify them and to warn them and about their attributes. We know that Surah Nur started with the issue of the slander which had taken place against Hazrat Aisha radhiyallahu anha, and commandments of Allah came in the first continuously in the early ayahs, and in the end again Allah is talking about the hypocrites, because the slander was also an incident caused by the hypocrites. So in the beginning of Surah Nur, Allah talks about the hypocrites and what they had done and how to counter it. And at the end again Allah is talking about the hypocrites, and again commandments of Allah will come. And in the very center of Surah Nur, there is the best ayah, one of the greatest ayahs of the Quran. The ayah of Nur ala Nur is there. So there's a beautiful design of this surah as well, and the scholars who have studied the design are mesmerized by the design of every surah. The thematic beauty which is in the surahs one after another, and the design of each surah and how it begins and how it ends, and the central idea is always in the middle. The central idea of the surah is always in the middle, in the central ayah. So again Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about the hypocrites, that they say that they believe in Allah and His Messenger, but a good group of them turns away soon afterwards. So whenever they are asked to do jihad, we know that jihad is also a phenomenon of the Madani era of the prophethood. So whenever they are, or any kind of sacrifice they had to make, they would turn away. They would come up with excuses. We can't do this because of this and because of that and because of that and because of that. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is highlighting their double standards, and Allah is saying that they are not true believers. They don't have hakiki iman, genuine conviction of their heart is not there. And as soon as they are called to Allah and His Messenger, so He may judge between them, a group of them turns away. So, though they call themselves that we believe in Allah and His Messenger and we are believers, we are Muslims, but whenever they had problems between themselves, there was some accusation or some kind of incident in which the requirement of judgment was there, they would always go to Jews to do judgment amongst them, because they never wanted. They would not come to Prophet ﷺ because they knew that Prophet ﷺ is going to do insaf, justice, and they didn't want justice. They wanted somebody to talk for them. They had their own interests closer to their heart more than what is true. So their interests took a priority over what was true, and that's why they didn't want to come to Prophet ﷺ. They would rather go to a Jew for a judgment rather than the Prophet ﷺ, and that is what is being said here in this ayah. Then Allah says in ayah 49, but if the truth is in their favor, they come to Him fully submitting. Yes, we are coming for you for judgment because we believe in you and we are Muslims. Only when they know that they are on the right side and Prophet is going to do the correct, is going to make the correct judgment. He's going to do insaf. Only then they will come to Prophet ﷺ and say that yes, see, we submit, that's why we come to you. That's why when they know that they have done corruption and they want to bribe and they want to influence the judge, they would always go to the Jews. Is there a sickness in their hearts? Or are they in doubt? Or do they fear that Allah and His Messenger will be unjust to them? In fact, it is they who are the true wrongdoers. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is enumerating. He's not asking you whether this problem is there or this problem is there. He's telling you that all these problems are there. They have a sickness in their heart. What is the sickness? The sickness of hypocrisy. They are lying to themselves and everybody around them that they believe. The conviction of heart is not there. They are lying and they are always on their guard that their falsehood should not be exposed. And they have a doubt. They have a doubt in the prophethood of the Prophet and the oneness of God. They have a doubt. That's why they don't have the conviction of the heart. Or do they fear that Allah and His Messenger will be unjust to them? Do they fear this? Yes, they fear this. Not because Allah and His Messenger is going to be unjust to them. God forbid. They are never unjust to anybody. But because they want that their interest should be made mandatory. They should be given a priority. That's why they don't come to Allah and His Messenger for judgment. In fact, it is they who are the true wrongdoers. They are the ones who are doing zulm on themselves. Because this kind of behavior will land them in hell. This kind of behavior. So they are doing tyranny on themselves because this will end in a very bad way. Ayah number 51. The only response of the true believers when they are called to Allah and His Messenger, so He may judge between them, is to say, we hear and obey. Samena wa atana. It is they who will truly succeed. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that when the true believers, they have any dispute between them, they have some matter which needs resolvement, they always come to the Prophet ﷺ, and whatever judgment he gives, they believe in it blindly. They say, Samena wa atana, we hear and we obey. They don't say why, how, if, but. They don't question the judgment of the Prophet ﷺ. They hear and they obey. So blind following is done of the Prophet ﷺ. Blind following done for the Quran. So the only two things for which blind following is allowed is Quran and Sunnah, because both of these are coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is infallible, who is free of all weaknesses, who cannot make mistake. For everybody else, you have to critically analyze that what information you are getting, what commandment you are getting, what advice you are getting. You have to critically analyze it, whether it's true, what is right, what is wrong, what are the pros and cons. You have to analyze it and you have to support the right thing. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that these are the people who follow the Prophet ﷺ blindly. These are on the right path. So ayah number 52, for whoever obeys Allah and His Messenger and fears Allah and is mindful of Him, then it is they who will truly triumph. So, for whoever obeys Allah and His Messenger, when you obey Allah and His Messenger, you are in a state of worship. And of course, we were created for worship. How is it possible that you obey Allah and His Messenger and you do not end up in Jannah? And fear Allah and is mindful of Him. They are always conscious that Allah is watching us. He's hearing everything, He's seeing everything, He knows everything. Because they are always conscious, they do not do anything which displeases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these are the people who will truly triumph, and that's true. Ayah number 53, they swear by Allah their most solemn oaths that if you, O Prophet ﷺ, were to command them, they would certainly march forth in Allah's cause. Say, you do not have to swear. Your obedience is well known. Surely Allah is all aware of what you do. So here Allah is talking about the munafiqeen, the hypocrites again. Well, Allah is saying that whenever there is an incidence, when the jihad is required, sacrifice is required, they will come up with 1000 different excuses. I had this thing to do, I had that thing to do, there was this important work, there was that important work. But if we did not have it, we would surely have given support to you, we would have gone out with you. And they will come up with all these different kinds of excuses. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that, I know, very sarcastically Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that you don't have to swear. Your obedience is already well known. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala over here shows us talking about the hypocrites, that they always come up with the excuses. And they want, the Prophet ﷺ is told that, then tell them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying from the Prophet's side that when Allah's order has come and Prophet has asked you to come for jihad or for sacrifice, then the order is there. Why do you have to come and swear separately that we would have gone if we didn't have that special job? The special job was more important to you than what the order of the Prophet, and this special job was more important to you than the work or sacrifice which was required by the deen. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that the Prophet is not going to come to your houses and going to tell you specifically, he's going to invite you to come for jihad. Please, so and so, come for jihad. It will be great if you could come for jihad. When he has given the order for everybody. If the believers are doing it, so does the hypocrites. They should also follow. And if they are not following, they are exposing themselves that they do not believe as the true believers do. So ayah number 54. Say, obey Allah and obey the Messenger. But if you turn away, then He is only responsible for His duty and you are responsible for yours. And if you obey Him, you will be rightly guided. The Messenger's duty is only to deliver the message clearly. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling the Prophet ﷺ that tell them that obey Allah and obey His Messenger. And if you turn away, this is what Allah is talking to the hypocrites, that when the command of obeying a command of sacrifice or jihad has come, then you have to obey Allah and His Prophet. No special invitation will go to you. And if you do not obey them, then the Prophet ﷺ has done his duty. The duty of the Prophet ﷺ was only to pass the message of Allah to his slaves. Then he has done his duty, and then you are responsible for your duty, that you were supposed to obey the command and go for the sacrifice, go for the jihad. And if you have not done it, then you are responsible for whatever you have done. He has done his duty and you are responsible for your duty. He has successfully done his duty. You are supposed to successfully do your duty. If you have not done it, then you are responsible for it and you will face the consequences. And if you obey him, if you obey the Prophet ﷺ, then you will be rightly guided, because he is the one who is guiding you towards the straight path by the order of command of the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And messenger's duty is only to deliver the message clearly, and he did that. Ayah 55, Allah has promised those of you who believe and do good that He will certainly make them successors in the land, as He did with those before them, and will surely establish for them their faith, which He has chosen for them, and will indeed change their fear into security, provided that they worship Me, associating nothing with Me. But whoever disbelieves after this promise, it is they who will be the rebellious. So Bayanul Quran says that this ayah 55 of Surah Nur is another greatest ayah of the Quran. And in this one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making a deal with his slaves that if you give me the promise of hakiki iman, conviction of the heart, and amle soleh, the righteous deed, then I give you promise that you are going to be the Khalifa of this earth. You are going to be the commander of everything on this earth. You are going to rule the earth. And His deen, Allah's deen, will be established, which you are commanded to establish. It will be established. You will be successful. And all your fears will be transformed into security. The people at that time, remember that the people of Medina at that time were fighting in the way of Allah. Already the battle of Badr, Uhud, and Khandaq had taken place. Surah Nur has come in 6th Hijri, and already all these battles have taken place, and continuously jihad is going on, and the people of Medina are struggling and striving in the way of Allah. So Allah is telling them that this is a promise. You do this and I will do this for you. Because whatever we achieve, we do not achieve out of our own struggles and our own efforts. It is achieved because of the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it is not if we have done our utmost, then we reach the trophy. It's not like that. We will reach the trophy only by the fazl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And He is promising that if you have hakiki and iman and amle soleh, the righteous deeds, everything will belong to you. And peace and security was a huge problem at that time, because continuous war was going on. The Medina was continuously in a state of war. Battles were going on one after the other. There were inside enemies and outside enemies. So the biggest issue was there was no security of life and property and honor, and there was no harmony and peace in that area. But Allah said, if you do that, you will be provided with it. Everything will be provided to you. And we saw that when at the time of Bait-e Rizwan, the 1400, some people say 14, some say 1900 Sahaba Ikram, when they did Bait on the hand of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was so happy with them. He was so happy with them that none of them objected to what the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has said. And after that, according to this promise which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done in Surah Nur, they were given one success after another, and they were made the commanders of the land of Arabia, and they challenged the Roman and Byzantine empires, and destroyed the Persian Empire completely. And it was their deen which was successful, and they were in peace and harmony. So the people who had actually done what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has asked them, the Sahaba Ikram, the people of Medina, the people of the Islamic State, when they had done what they were asked to do, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fulfilled His promise, and He gave them success on the land, and He gave their deen success on their land, and He turned their fears into security. And then comes ayah 56. Moreover, establish prayer, pay armed taxes, and obey the messenger, so you may be shown mercy. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes again back to the righteous deeds. Pray, to establish salah, and to give zakat. There's physical worship and financial worship. So you are supposed to Hakukul Ibad and Hakukullah have to be fulfilled, plus obey the messenger. Under all circumstances, the messenger has to be obeyed, so you may be shown mercy, and Allah will show mercy to you whenever you will need it, especially in the hereafter. Ayah number 57. Do not think, O Prophet ﷺ, that the disbelievers can escape in the land. The fire will be their home. Indeed, what an evil destination. So the hypocrites, when they used to deceive the Prophet ﷺ, they were very happy that we have made a fool out of him, na'uzubillah. And now everybody is going for jihad and making sacrifice, and we are not supposed to do it, but because we have made an excuse and the messenger has granted it, and so we have made a fool out of him, na'uzubillah. Allah said, do not think all their happiness will evaporate because they will end up in fire. They cannot escape it. Ayah number 58. O believers, let those bondspeople, slaves, in your possession, and those of you who are still underage, so underage children are being talked about here, ask for your permission to come in at 3 times. What are the times? Before dawn prayer, when you take off your outer clothes at noon, and after the late evening prayer. These are 3 times of privacy for you. Other than these times, there is no blame on you or them to move freely, attending to one another. This is how Allah makes the revelations clear to you, for Allah is all knowing, all wise. So, again, special commands are coming for the household, for the privacy. We know that in this surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is legislating some social, moral, and legal laws which have to be obeyed, so that the hypocrites cannot create problems for the Islamic society and the people of Medina. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that the slaves and the younger kids who are underage, who are not reached puberty, even they are teach them and tell them that it's commanded by Allah that they are not supposed to enter your rooms at the time before Fajr time, after Isha time, and in the noon, when after your work and after eating lunch you are lying down and you remove your outer garments, your soap you have removed, and you are resting. They have to seek permission before they enter into your rooms. So this is for the slaves and underage kids. And then in the next ayah, Allah says, and when your children reach the age of puberty, let them seek permission to come in as their seniors do. So all the time they have to seek permission before entering their parents' rooms, because now they have reached puberty and they're adults. This is how Allah makes His revelations clear to you, for Allah is all knowing, all wise. So they are very clear commandments. There is nothing in there which is ambiguous and confusing. So it makes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made everything very clear. So you must, all these ayahs we already know, according to ayah number 1 surah Noor, these are obligatory commands, farais. Ayah 60, as for elderly women past the age of marriage, there is no blame on them if they take off their outer garments, jilbab, abaya, burqa, chadar, without revealing their adornments, but it is better for them if they avoid this altogether, and Allah is all hearing, all knowing. Allah knows and He hears whatever are the whispers of the shaitan, whatever are your opinions going out and going in within your brains and within your heart. He knows everything. So Allah is saying that if the elderly women who are past the age of marriage and past the age of temptation, if they want to remove their jilbab in presence of na-mahram, so they can do it. It's they will not be held responsible for them. There is no sin on them. But it is also important that they have not adorned themselves. It's not like you can remove jilbab and you have adorned yourself with beautiful clothes and jewelry and makeup and hairdo and wearing everything, and you are removed it that Allah has granted me permission. No, Allah is saying that you should be not, you shouldn't be showing your adornment even if you are very old, but it's better if you cover yourself. So recommendation is that it's preferable that you cover, but if you do not do it without adorning yourself, then there is no sin on you. Ayah 61, there is no restriction on the blind or the disabled or the sick, nor on yourself if you eat from your homes or the homes of your fathers, your mothers, your brothers, your sisters, your paternal uncles, your paternal aunts, maternal uncles, maternal aunts, or from the homes in your trust, the homes you are financing, the homes of your slaves, or the homes of your friends. There is no blame on you eating together or separately. However, when you enter houses, greet one another with a greeting of peace from Allah, blessed and good. This is how Allah makes His revelations clear to you, or perhaps you will understand. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking about the people of the home, of the families who are disabled, who are special kids, or who are challenged mentally. These are the peoples who are spared from all these commands. They can come, enter, leave, eat whatever they want from all these houses which have been mentioned in this ayah, and there is no sin on them. And it is also told to them that in cases of gatherings. If somebody comes before in these houses and others are late, the people who have come before do not need to wait for the people who are coming late. It is not obligatory that you have to sit and eat together. Allah does not want difficulty for you. If you want to eat before other people are late, it's fine. If you want to eat together, that's better, but there's no sin on you. And if, especially if you are going in these houses and the males of these houses are not there, and the women offer you some food, it's okay, you can eat out of it. You don't have to wait for the males to come and eat with you. It's okay, you can, these are your family houses, so you can eat in these houses. There's no sin on any of you. But it is important that when you enter your own house or any house, say Assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings upon it. This is a very special prayer, and it brings blessings in that house wherever it is. So it has highly recommended that whenever you enter your house, you say Assalamu alaikum. This is how Allah makes His revelations clear to you, and perhaps you will understand. And Allah says that this is for perhaps that if you make an effort and if you reflect and if you believe, you will understand that how blessed it is that to say Assalamu alaikum on entering your houses. Ayah number 62, the true believers are only those who believe in Allah and His Messenger. And when they are with him, the Prophet ﷺ, on a public matter, they do not leave without his permission. Indeed, those who ask your permission, O Prophet ﷺ, are the ones who truly believe in Allah and His Messenger. Ayah number 62, the true believers are only those who believe in Allah and His Messenger. So if you believe in Allah but not in the Messenger, you are not a true believer. And when they are with him on public matter, they do not leave without his permission. Indeed, those who ask your permission, O Prophet ﷺ, are the ones who truly believe in Allah and His Messenger. So, when they ask your permission from a private matter, grant permission to have whoever you wish and ask Allah's forgiveness for them. Surely Allah is all forgiving, most merciful. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that whenever you are accompanying the Prophet ﷺ, in any matter of the deen, or as an organization or administration, you are moving with the Prophet ﷺ, and you have certain task to do or certain job to do, then if you need time out or you want to leave for some personal matter, you have to ask permission of the Prophet. You cannot disappear without telling him. This is the discipline. These are the disciplines of an Islamic society and organization and administration, that you cannot move about without telling the leader, the head of the organization, that you need permission for some personal affair. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that you have to maintain the discipline, and Prophet ﷺ has complete authority whether he grants you permission to go or he does not grant you permission to go. If he finds it okay, he will. If he doesn't find it, you are not supposed to go. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that once these people have prioritized their own private work over the work of deen or the work of the Prophet, then you must, Prophet ﷺ, if you have given them permission, make dua for them as well, because it would have been better for them to prioritize the job of Allah over their own private matter. It would have been better. So it is also commanded over here, because in Ghazwa Tabuk it was completely forbidden for the believers to ask for permission not to go on Tabuk. We know that the Ghazwa Tabuk was the only one in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had made it compulsory for every believer to go on the jihad. In all other battles, it was on voluntary basis. Whoever wants to go, they can go. But in Ghazwa Tabuk, it was made mandatory on every believer that they have to go. So the believers, they never asked for permission for not going. They never asked for permission. So the people who never asked for permission were the believers. But in this ayah, you will see this is in 6th Hijri, and Surah Ghazwa Tabuk was in 9 Hijri. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying the people who are asking for permission are the true believers. And over there Allah is saying that those who never ask for permission and they are prioritizing Allah's job over their private affairs are the true believers. So there is a difference over here, because the people over here are not as resolute in their iman as the people in the 9th Hijrah. Over there already Bai'at Rizwan has taken place, and Fatah Makkah has taken place. So they over there consolidation of true faith has occurred to a larger extent in the 9th Hijri than this time in 6th Hijri. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is over here, he's talking about how the communal affairs, the discipline has to be observed in communal affairs, and Prophet has to be told about whatever you are doing. Ayah 63, do not treat the Prophet's summons to you as lightly as you summon as your summons to one another. Allah certainly knows those of you who slip away hiding behind others. So let those who disobey His orders beware, for an affliction may befall them or a painful torment may overtake them. So Allah is talking about them when a messenger is calling you for something, for some work of deen, or for some job, or for some mission. When the Prophet has called you, drop everything you are doing and listen to what he's saying. Run towards him, whatever command he's about to give to you. His summoning you is not like any person, any other person summoning you. He is the Prophet of Allah. He is doing the work of Allah. He is asking you to come for the work of Allah. So you have to prioritize it over everything else. And if you are not prioritizing it, and you are hiding behind people who are taking permissions and making excuses, and they are leaving, and you are leaving with them without asking permission and without telling the Prophet ﷺ that you are leaving, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that these are the people who are disobeying the orders, and they should be beware that an affliction may befall them and painful torment may overtake them. So Allah is warning them of painful torment if they are deceiving the Prophet ﷺ. And ayah number 64, the last ayah of Surah Nur, surely to Allah belongs whatever is in the heavens and the earth. Everything, He is the owner, the master. He is the sovereign of everything which is in this world. This world means all of the universe, and in all the skies and all the realms and all the dimensions which are there, which exist in all. He's the Rabb of everything in existence. He knows well what you stand for. He knows everything, whether you stand for the right or the wrong. And on the day, all will be returned to Him. The day of judgment, everybody will be standing in front of Him for accountability. He will inform them of what they did. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell these people that what you have been doing. Especially the hypocrites, Allah is talking to the hypocrites, we know in a lot in this surah, that they will not tell what is in their heart, but Allah will tell them what is in their heart. For Allah has perfect knowledge of all things, because He knows everything. Is Al-Hakim Al-Alim. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu